I already have the hood off today for some other things we're doing. So I thought this would be a good time to replace the upper and lower radiator hose. You can see the bottom of it there is pretty oil soaked. The valve cover gasket was leaking. I've since replaced that, so we're going to go ahead and put new hoses on here too. It actually has a petcock drain valve up front here. Right there. I've already turned it part of the way. Of course I can't just do it with my fingers. It's who knows how long it's been, you know, shut, but and I don't know why I had to mess with the wrench when I was filming. There we go, now it's the right size. And you can see it coming out here. So we're going to use a couple different things here to try and get this upper radiator hose off. I'm sure it's probably the original. And I got this clamp slid back just about as far as I can. I was hoping to reuse them just because they have that proper look to them. But this one, the bolt bent even coming out. So I don't know if I'll be able to, but I'm going to use this hose pick here. This one's from Harbor Freight. I don't know if they're all like this or not, but the first thing you do on the Harbor Freight one is hit the tip here with an angle, with a grinder, knock it down a little bit. They come razor sharp for some unknown reason. And if you're just trying to take a hose off and possibly reuse it, it's so stinking sharp, you can very easily just stab it right through the hose. There's no need for it to be that sharp. So we're going to try and break the seal around this radiator, because the last thing I want to do is damage this radiator and have to end up replacing it. And if that doesn't work, we'll take, which it did, you can take a utility knife and just cut through the hose. And this would be okay, but if you have like a plastic neck on there, be very careful to not damage the plastic as you're cutting. Either way, be careful you're not just, you know, going to town and scoring whatever's below it. But so I went over and got my hoses and looked at them to make sure that they were the correct ones, because I really don't want to be cutting this hose in half like this, and then I got the wrong one here, and in case I need to use it or move it or something, I wouldn't be able to. So the reason I'm cutting this is just because it's so stiff, and just having a hard time getting it the rest of the way off this radiator, and I really don't want to damage it. There we go. I could probably yank that right off there. There we go. And I don't know. I'll take these clamps off and clean them up. Maybe I'll still be able to use them yet. Where's that? I've got this weird OCD thing about hose clamps, and I just like the look of the factory ones for some reason. Or if you're going to replace them, you need to replace them all. It bugs me when you've got one or two factory ones and then a couple that are different. For some reason, it just drives me crazy. I don't know why. It just doesn't look right to me. So, let's see what we can do here. That bottom one's good and loose. Let's see if we can get that up out of the way. Oh, and actually, that whole hose is gonna slide right off of there. Whew! And see, that right there is what oil does to these. You can see, well, you can't, threw the old one away. This one's still nice and, you know, normal shape here. See this end, how it's all mushroomed out and just swollen? And if you could feel it, you could tell it's just mush. Oil turns these things just to absolute mush, and that was the reason I was wanting to replace them, because it was just so oil soaked. Tried moving the camera so you could see it, but it's still in front of the valve cover. We're going to use some emery cloth or crocus cloth, whatever you want to call it, and just clean up these sealing surfaces. Don't want to have any leaks after we get it back together. If anybody cares, there's the Kubota part number. I bought these from Messick's. They've got almost everything you'd ever want for one of these things. Some of the stuff seems outrageously priced, but then again, you know, this is a 92, I think, and you can still buy parts from the dealer. So, you know, there's something to be said about that. You might not want to pay for them, but the fact that they're available is definitely nice. That's a lot tighter than the old one was coming off. Not all mushed out. Okay, and we'll get it on the radiator. Oh, let's get this guy in there first. Find right where the nipple flares out, which is right here, and I like to put him right up against that. I found, for me anyway, it seems to seal the best right there. A little visit to the wire wheel and a little bit of oil, and this one is working much better. That one's done. Bottom one. This bottom one's really nice and easy to turn. I'm just running it in by hand. There we go. Crank it down a little bit. Well, this is the first thing I found that I think could have been better engineered. To remove the side covers on the driver's side, or I guess it would be the passenger side, the right side of the tractor, you've got to remove the air cleaner housing, which, okay, not that big a deal. And I have not verified this yet, but it looks like, let's see, am I turning this the right way? It looks like, oh, the other side, the left side, you have to remove the muffler. Not going to do that. That just seems like way too much work, removing the muffler to move that that side cover. I don't think there's any reason you need to actually remove that for any kind of maintenance or anything, but still, I mean, come on. There would have had to have been a better way. Make it a two-piece screen that would fit over it or something. But I think now we can take this right out of here. Let's hold it up here. Oh, it's tucked behind this. Can we just pull it up over? Pull it up over. Yep, there we go. And we should be able to just yank her right out of there. Okay. And it's out of the way. So oh, it's hitting the pump. You think, oh, I'll put this ratcheting box end in there and it'll be slicker than snot, but no, it hits the pump. We can still kind of get it on there. I'm hoping I can just kind of work it around and get it over the, yep, there we go, get it over the bolt head. When I put this back together, I'm going to put the bolt coming at an angle from over here so you can easily get to it. I will say that's one thing I like about the newer tractors. My brother-in-law's got a John Deere. It's about 10 years newer than this one. And you flip the hood all the way forward and you can just pull it right off. You don't have to take any bolts out. The side panels, same deal. You can just pull them right off. It is a lot nicer to work on stuff when you can just take it apart like that. Now hopefully we don't lose a ton of coolant out of here, but I'm not sure what's going to happen when we pull this off. Guess we'll find out shortly. It's dripping out the backside a little bit of this hose, so that connection must be pretty loose. Oh, there we go, the front end's loose now too. Of course the bucket won't come back quite far enough as far as I'd like it to. I mean, it looks like it is, but I think it's just barely going to miss it if it starts coming back at an angle at all this way. There we go. That worked out surprisingly well. We split a little bit, but not too bad. And just like that, you're done. So I've put the air cleaner housing back on. We're going to take it outside, fill it up with coolant, and check for leaks. And if I need to tighten these clamps down, they'll be much easier to get to. Usually it's a good idea to shut the drain valve before you start filling it up with coolant. Oops. Other than that, I don't see any leaks yet, so hopefully that was our one blunder, which was a quick, easy fix.